Alright, the Reds, it's Talking Reds. Friday's Talking Reds, and I've got Kev Walsh with me today. We are sponsored by Yorkshire Tea today. I've fed up of putting the shout-outs for Barry's Tea. He'd never come back to me after all these years of saying how great it is, so I've moved on. Yorkshire. Any chance Yorkshire Tea? Any free tea there, boys?
what a sales pitch that is. I've been fucked up by everyone else, so if you, any chance, that's basically how I get paid.
So Kev, something came out last night, James Pearce wrote about it on The Athletic, and for me it's a good step forward. It's talking about getting fans back in the ground. I'm writing something on this myself at the moment actually, and that, like, you know, this is what I'm really starting to miss now. I get that some people don't ever go in the ground and support Liverpool and stuff like that. It's made me realise how lucky I am to have a season ticket to go in the Kop. But I'm really sort of missing it now, and you know, all the fury and everything fume around the Charity Shield. That day I was actually more interested in the fact that, you know, Chelsea were playing Brighton and there was some fans there, and I was like, you know, there's the step back now. And what James was saying yesterday was that what Liverpool are aiming for, hoping for next month, is the Sheffield United home game to have 12,500 in at Anfield. There's been some news around sort of what they're doing with the season tickets, which is not taking any money. They're just going to take for the games that people qualify for. Most people think it's going to be some form of ballot for that. Obviously there'll be an opt-in thing as well, because some people, because of the situation, might not want to go and be part of a crowd, etc, etc, etc. But it does seem we are making steps towards getting people back in the ground, getting back to a place, what we know, you know, the routine, going to match, seeing your mates, having a pint and going in the ground. Good news.
Yeah, well, anyone getting back in the ground is good news, isn't it? But the thought of 12,500 people
weird, isn't it?
In a 55,000 seater stadium, especially Anfield, it's just the Brighton stuff. If you had a look at any of the pictures of it or the videos or anything,
yeah, I've seen
like,
the pictures.
They're in like it just seems like clinical. They're all in perfectly formed rows, like going down. And obviously, I know that's because of what's going on. That's what's got to happen. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like the thought of going back to match should make you go, I can't wait for that. Whereas a bit of me's going, I'll probably go one time and then just say, well, I can't be arsed with the rest of them. So someone else can go. But then, obviously, when everyone can go back in, that first time is going to be unbelievable. And obviously, as you say, it's a bit spoiled really, because there'll be other people going, fucking hell, I'd die to be one of the 12,500. That's fair enough. We all have different Liverpool supporting experiences. No one's better than or worse than anyone else. I think the underwhelming nature of it now, because it's a month away, probably in a month's time, and especially if I'm one of the ones thrown out of the balance, I'll be like, I cannot wait to get back in there. And even around the ground, because even if you're not going to match, it's probably going to be on the telly. So the boozers around Anfield will be absolutely rammed anyway. So this is probably not what people want to hear. Do you know what I mean? The social distance and all that, yeah, whatever. But
it will be.
It's going to be absolutely rammed, and every pub's going to be full. They'll all have booking tickets and all that. But like, I'm looking forward to that bit. You know what I mean? Because obviously we'll be back in the Stanley, all the lads, whether we're going in the ground or not. And obviously, as a lot of the viewers will know, I'm fond of sometimes just going, fuck the match anyway, I'll just stay in here and have a pint. So I'll be happy either way, because being back around the ground with the lads watching the match is great, and obviously being in the ground and it being a step back. But I'm happier about it being a step back to 55,000 than I am about the thought of sitting with a bubble around me, not talking to anybody. You're not supposed to sing and all that, are you? I don't want to. I feel like I'm a miserable bastard there, don't I? I'm not. I'm happy that there's people going back in, but it's just football, and the way we go and watch the football, people like us, it's not about necessarily, oh yeah, I get to see every single pass that's made on the pitch. It's about the experience. Like, I've been to Marine with you and watched you absolutely fucking ball out of centre half, do you know what I mean, from the sideline. We all do different things, don't we? And on the Kop, it's all about the people who you're with, the shouts that you hear, the laugh that you have. And the football is obviously a very big part of it, but I'm very happy that there's something going on that means eventually we're all going to be back in there, because that's exactly what I'm missing, all the camaraderie of it, as well as watching the Reds. Yeah,
it's a step in the right direction, isn't it? It will be strange, I think, and you know, there will be, you know, for instance, I think about it about, you know, who I go to the game with and things like that. I'm sure you're the same like that. And you know, for instance, I literally sit next to me mate, one of my mates. He's got a season ticket next to me. We've been fortunate enough to be able to engineer that over the years. But like, you know, if I get in and he doesn't get in, then it's going to be like, where's Gary?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, there's all those little dynamics going on, but yeah, some fans is better than no fans, and so it does look like we'll be taking the steps in that direction. Liverpool's first game, of course, will be behind closed doors against Leeds a week tomorrow. We've got international football this weekend. Be arsed talking about that.
Who gives a fuck
what else is going on? This afternoon it was announced that 4 Liverpool players are in the running for the PFA Player of the Year. Who is it? It's Virgil, Trent,
Manny and Mo. Or Henderson and Mo.
Henderson and Mo.
Henderson and Manny.
Oh, do you know what? Should have checked this, shouldn't I? How unprofessional. Do you know what I was thinking? Here we go. I've got it here. It's Trent, Kev De Bruyne, Jordan Henderson, Sadio Mane, Raheem Sterling and Virgil van Dijk. So it's 4 Liverpool players, 1 ex-Liverpool player and a Liverpool fan. All in the running.
Up the fucking Reds.
Do you know what I mean? For Player of the Year. And Trent's also in the running for Young Player of the Year.
I reckon that's the most certain award
anyone's
ever seen, isn't it?
I mean, he's up against Tammy Abraham, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Mason Mount and Saka at Arsenal. All good players, but, you know, Trent surely. Won the league, shitloads of assists. Absolutely brilliant against Leicester in that game in particular. And yeah, you would think he was nailed on. What do you reckon for the main award, though? Do you think there's going to be a little pat on the head for a City player for that one?
So the PFA, it depends. See, it depends how the other, because obviously other fans, because Liverpool fans on like the internet come across as absolute knobheads half the time, hate us. But I don't think when you meet people in real life and you talk to them, they necessarily hate Liverpool. And I wonder whether the players are like that. Like obviously the Man City players can't bear us, and that's right. It's the way Leeds and Derby couldn't bear each other in the past, or Liverpool and Man United, or whoever it was. When you're winning, you're not going to be mates. It's like Rafa always said about Mourinho, the first time they played each other, and Chelsea were tonking everyone. It was all friendships and handshakes and cuddles. He said, and then as soon as we started winning, that's when Mourinho threw his toys out of the pram. And you wonder with the players whether they take a notice of the tribalism side of it. And I'm not sure they necessarily do, because the Everton players are not going to vote for any Liverpool players, obviously. The Man City players aren't. But you think the rest of them are probably going to think, well, when we played them, as you said, that Leicester game, the Leicester players are going to be thinking, we're a good team, and they were in a good run of form at that stage as well, before they fell off. We couldn't get near them, they were fantastic. So you think, are they going to go for... The problem is you've got Kevin De Bruyne, who is by far and away the most outstanding player outside of Liverpool in the whole league. And obviously the thing around Henderson, like a lot of fans don't see the positives to Henderson getting the award that he got. But then you think players probably think, well, I know exactly what he's doing, I know exactly why he's getting the credit he does. So you wonder whether they're going to double down on it. So it'll be an interesting one to see. It's funny that obviously City could, the funny thing is, City could win it and De Bruyne gets it. And the last, we still won the league, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's one of those things. Individual awards are nice, but winning a team thing is much better. Because how many times in the past have we come second in the league and one of our players got Player of the Year, something like that, and you're just like, well, I'm last.
It was nice seeing Virgil get it last year,
no, it's lovely to see, and when it happens, you'd rather it happened than it didn't. But if it happens and you don't win anything, it doesn't mean anything to the fans, really. It's a personal thing for the players, and if De Bruyne gets it, listen, fair play to him, because he is one outstanding footballer, and the reason he'll get it is because he's an outstanding individual footballer and he's sort of dragging his team on, whereas our players are turning into a cohesive unit and becoming more than the sum of the parts, which I know what I'd rather have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Elsewhere, the transfer gossip continues to chatter on, if you like. Some news this afternoon is that Suarez is seemingly going to Juventus. That seems to be done and dusted. Guillem Balaguer is talking about that, and it's on the BBC, so it looks fairly done. Where there might be a knock-on effect for us on that one is that there was talk that Barca needed to shift some people out before they could get anyone else in, and this obviously brings back around to Gini Wijnaldum. There's obviously been link after link with that one, the Ronald Koeman thing, everything else around that. There's something on Goal today about saying sort of Liverpool are saying he's available for a fee. I mean, how true that is and how accurate that is, don't really know. He is obviously in the last year of his contract. I've got to say, a fee doesn't do anything for me to make it any more palatable, really. I'd rather us have him for a season and him go for nothing. Would you agree with that?
1,000,000%, especially, listen, I think everyone knows my feelings on FSG. we've won the league with them in charge, we've won the European Cup with them in charge, so they've done what they've set out to do, but if they think that 15 million quid in the bank is better than the player who's had most appearances over the last 2 seasons, Liverpool's 2 highest point scoring seasons ever, well, I'm not sure they're in it for the right reasons then, because a player like Gini Wijnaldum, we should, in fact, a club like Liverpool should be able to give him the last year of his contract if that's what we want to do. But I personally think we should be able to give him a new contract. I understand that obviously because of the way it's gone and he's still on the original contract he signed for, he's going to want a mega deal. Fair play, he's a fantastic player and it's probably his last big deal. So I can understand the reason maybe not wanting to give him that. But the thought of not wanting to give him another 12 months at 70 grand a week or whatever he's on now, and by Thiago as well, when we haven't signed anyone for 2 years, that again, that just doesn't ring right for me. That one, but all this commercial success we're having, we should be in a position where we treat this, I've said it before, we should be treating this coronavirus, everything to do with that, and everything that's doing to football, we should be treating this as an opportunity and not a threat. We should be big enough to be able to take small gambles, calculated risks, and think if this comes off, we are in for another 3, 4, 5 years at the top here. And it feels to me like what we're trying to do is we're trying to just in case the worst ever happens. Well, if you plan for the worst, you want to get the worst. If you plan for the best, you might get there, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it was Ule again, bringing Ule up again. If you aim for the moon, you might land in the stars or something like that. It feels like the top of the club are being overly cautious to me, and I know everyone will say, well, you're not running the finances. Yeah, I'm not, because I don't work for the club. I'm a Liverpool fan. I want to see Liverpool win the league again next year. I want to see us win a league and European Cup double, because I believe we're in a situation whereby nobody can stop us doing that. The only thing that stopped us doing it this season was a mistake by our second choice goalkeeper, because we were unfortunate enough to have our first choice goalkeeper injured. We should be in a position where we're making this work for us. Everyone else is shitting themselves about money. Okay, Sam, well, let's go in with an extra couple of million quid and get the 2, 3 and 4 players we think are going to carry this team for the next 2 and 3 years. Whereas as it is now, we're saying, well, we'll hold what we've got at the moment and we'll see where we are next year. Well, next year, I don't think Chelsea are going to challenge for the league next year, but in 2 and 3 years' time, when Ziyech and Werner and now Kai Havertz as well are all gelled and they're all playing together, and our front three are 31, 32, they're going to be in a much better position than we are. That's just football facts. If you don't, Man United were always the same. If you don't go forwards, you're going backwards by virtue of everybody else catching you up. We're so far ahead, we should be pushing even further ahead. We should put our foot on the throats of teams like Chelsea, teams like Tottenham, teams like even Man City to an extent. If you think about how far ahead of them we were last year, they can sign all the players they want, but they haven't got the system in place that gets them the right players like we have. So we know when we sign players, 99% of them, they work out well for us. So if we're doing that, and we're in a position now where we've just won the league, we haven't spent any money for 2 years, we've probably got players there who are going, he'd be perfect for this team. We should be taking a little gamble on them, I think. And I know that's not a popular opinion because enough people fucking tell me it's not a popular opinion, but I'm not asked, it's mine.
The debate will rumble on. We'll keep on going all the way through. There will be gutters. If you don't know what that is, it's Rob Gutman basically with his transfer show, all the transfer gossip. But we end up in debates like this one, which Kev's just been offering his opinion on there. So there was one of them the other day. There was a boss rant on there from Neil Atkinson. Kev's just had his one. You know, you can put those two together in a room and let them argue it out. We may well do that at some point, but there's another gutter tomorrow as well, I think, and we'll keep on doing them all the way through, leading up, of course, to the big kick-off next Saturday. Content all the way through, video, podcasts, and on the website, theanfieldapp.com. Listen, have a boss weekend. Enjoy international football if that's your thing. If it's not your thing, maybe go and watch a bit of local football. I went and watched some myself the other week. AFC Liverpool and South Liverpool, it was cracker. Some boss scouse tackles in there on Jericho Lane. But yeah, do what you do, enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back with more stuff next week. Up the right.